H beheaded hundreds of Jews for trying to defend themselves once they realized he was eliminating them.
Assalamu alaikum and hello to my non-Muslim viewers. I'm going to try to make this video as short as possible. So here we go. Christian psychopath David Wood says that he made a video where he brings up every kind of argument against the Prophet Muhammad, and one of the arguments he brings up is the Qurazah, the execution of the Qurazah Jews. So he's not the only one who brings up this polemic. Robert Spencer, and other critics of Islam, whether they're atheists or Christian critics of Islam, always bring up this argument: the execution or the killing of the Banu Qurazah tribe. So let's just look at the sources David Wood cites. The sources he cites are Ibn Asad, pages 464, in Al-Tabari, volume 8, pages 27 to 41, where David Wood alleges that Prophet Muhammad beheaded hundreds of Jews for trying to defend themselves. Now, is this true? No, it isn't. Well, first of all, look at the sources he's citing. He's citing Ibn Asad and Al-Tabari. So he's citing this book, The Life of Muhammad, the translation of Ibn Asad, Sirah Rasulullah by Alfred Guillaume. In this book, The History of Al-Tabari, volume 8. So basically, what we need to do is we need to see if these sources are reliable or not. So is Ibn Ishaq reliable? No, it isn't. I made an entire video and I wrote an article like years ago explaining, I think, 8 years ago? Yeah, 8 years ago, I made a video explaining why Ibn Ishaq and Al-Tabari aren't reliable, and I'm going to be posting them in the description below. So you don't even have to go to outside sources to refute these sources. These sources refute themselves. If you go to page 36 in the introduction, it talks about people who said that Ibn Ishaq was not reliable. For example, again, I'm reading from this book, The Life of Muhammad. He talks about how Yahya ibn Qattan would never quote from him. El-Nisa said he was not strong, etc. So there's several Muslim scholars. Yahya bin Sa'id said that he knew Ibn Ishaq in Kufa and he abandoned him intentionally, never wrote down traditions on his authority. So basically, etc., etc. So basically, there's several Muslim scholars, several early Muslim scholars, who did not trust Ibn Ishaq's traditions and didn't write anything from Ibn Ishaq himself. So even in the early period of Islam, there were scholars refuting the reliability of Ibn Ishaq. They were saying Ibn Ishaq's not reliable and his traditions aren't reliable, and things like that. So Ibn Ishaq, this book mostly isn't reliable anyways. The second source he cites is The History of Al-Tabari, volume 8. Now this is volume 1, but all you need to do to refute his claims is just look at volume 1 pages, or to refute the sources. Al-Tabari, volume 1, pages 170, where he says that, Al-Tabari warns people that his books are filled with weak and authentic narrations. For example, he says, in such case, he should know that it is not our fault that such information comes to him, but the fault of someone who transmitted it to us. We have merely reported it as it was reported to us. This is found in The History of Al-Tabari, volume 1, pages 170 to 171, where he says that not all his reports are reliable. They're not authentic, and he was just passing down traditions that he heard. He wasn't verifying whether they were authentic or not. Again, this is found in The History of Al-Tabari, page 170 to page 171. So both those sources David Wood cites aren't reliable anyways. So what is the reliable biography of the Prophet Muhammad? It would be this book, Ibn Hisham. Because Ibn Hisham edited, or he took out a lot of weak stories in Ibn Ishaq's work. But David Wood doesn't cite this because he knows he's going to refute his points anyways. He's being dishonest. So first of all, let's get into the whole Banu Qurayza thing and things like that. Now was Banu Qurayza just killed just for trying to defend themselves? No, David was lying, because if you read Sahih Muslim, book 19, hadith number 4364, it says the Banu Qurayza fought against the Prophet Muhammad. So the Banu Qurayza were launching war campaigns against the Prophet Muhammad. So according to Sahih Muslim, and Sahih Muslim is considered one of the most authentic sources in Islam. Hadith number 4364, book 19, it says Banu Qurayza fought against the Prophet Muhammad. If we read further, according to Ibn Hisham, Volume 3, page 337, and Ibn Hisham, Volume 2, pages 228, it says that the Banu Qurayza were launching war campaigns, or war. They were fighting against the Muslims, and they were basically instigating war against the Muslims. So that's why the Prophet Muhammad fought against them. It wasn't because of, it wasn't some random. It wasn't just he just wanted to randomly attack them and things like that. And again, I'll be posting the sources below, so you can check for yourself. Another good book to read is a biography of the Prophet of Islam in light of their original Sources An Analytical Study. In Volume 2, pages 550 to 560, you can see the whole context why the Qurazah Jews were fought. They were fighting against the Prophet Muhammad, and I have that book with me. I have that book with me. It's basically this book, the biography of the Prophet of Islam, Volume 2. And another good biography to read is The Sealed Nectar, which I have right here. So according to these sources, and again, I'll be posting the sources the sources below, or the references below. The Qurazah Jews were fighting against the Prophet Muhammad, and they lost. They were fighting against the Prophet Muhammad, and they started, again, remember, the Qurazah Jews started the fight. David Wood is lying. The Prophet Muhammad didn't just behead or kill those Jews just for no reason. There was a reason why the Qurazah Jews and the Muslims were fighting, and the Qurazah Jews started it. They were the ones who instigated the war. So you might be thinking, well, what about, did the Prophet Muhammad really kill 600 Jews or 900 Jews? Some people say it was 600, some people say it was 900. Well, we don't know how many Jews were killed. This 900 figure or the 600 figure comes from Ibn Ishaq's book, and Ibn Ishaq, again, is not reliable. So we don't know how many of these Jews were killed, but the Prophet Muhammad didn't pass judgment to kill their men and take their women and children as slaves. According to Sahih Bukhari, book 2600 and according to Sahih Bukhari 2816, it says that a man named Saad ibn Muadh said that after the Qurazah Jews were defeated after fighting the Muslims of the Prophet Muhammad's army or whatever, they were subjugated, and the Jews asked Saad ibn Muadh to give them to decide what to do with them. And Saad ibn Muadh said their warriors should be killed, and their women and children should be taken slaves. And so according to, Saad ibn Muadh was a Jew who converted to Islam, and he was passing judgment on them according to the book of Deuteronomy. And again, the book of Deuteronomy is from the Old Testament. According to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 20, verse 12 to 14, it says that, and if it will make no peace with thee, and will make war against thee, then thou shalt besiege it. And when the Lord thy God had delivered it to thy hands, thou shalt smite every male there with the edge of the sword, but the women and the little ones, children, and the cattle and all that is in the city, even all the spoil thereof, there shalt take unto thyself, and thou shalt eat the spoil within thy enemies, which the Lord thy God hath given thee. So according to Saad ibn Muadh, passed the judgment on those Qurazah Jews after they were defeated using the Old Testament, using the Jewish law. And again, this is this law of killing the warrior men and taking the women and children as slaves is found in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 20, verse 12 to 14. So, what about the figure of 900 Jews or 600 or 900 Qurazah Jewish men being killed? Is that an accurate figure? No, it isn't. We don't know how many Jews were. We don't know the exact figure. You know, this claim of it being 600 or 900 Jews is not found in any authentic narration. It's found again in the figures are found in this book, Ibn Ishaq. But this book isn't reliable anyways, and it's also found in, I think it's found in the History of Al-Tabari, volume 8, the source David Wood cites, which is Al-Tabari, volume 8, pages 27 to 41. But again, Ibn Ishaq and Al-Tabari aren't reliable anyway, so they can be, they're not reliable, so they can be tossed out. So we don't know how many Qurazah Jews were killed. We don't know if there were 100 Qurazah Jews killed, or 50 Qurazah Jewish men killed, or 75 Jewish men. We don't know the exact figures, but this figure of 600 Jews being killed, or 900 Qurazah Jews being beheaded and killed, is found in weak sources. Muslim scholars don't accept those sources anyway, so we don't know how many Qurazah Jews were killed. And again, if you read Sahih Muslim and Sahih al-Bukhari and stuff like that, it says their warriors were killed. Now again, I'll be posting the references below. Their warriors were killed. So the warrior men, the men who were fighting against the Muslims and were instigating war against the Muslims, were killed, according to the authentic Muslim sources. So, so the whole thing is the Qurazah Jews. And another funny thing is, even if we take Ibn Ishaq to be reliable, according to Ibn Ishaq pages. According to Ibn Ishaq, pages 453, it says that the reason why the Qurazah Jews were killed was because some Jews named Huway ibn al-Nadir and Qab al-Asad Qurazah were instigating violence, basically instigating violence against the Muslims. So the reason why the Muslims fought against the Qurazah Jews is because these Qurazah Jews were instigating violence against the Muslims. And this is found in Ibn Ishaq, pages 453. So even Ibn Ishaq, even if you read Ibn Ishaq's biography, even though it's not reliable, if you read pages 453, it talks about the reason why the Prophet Muhammad fought against the Qurazah Jews. It was because they were instigating violence, or they were instigating war against him and the early Muslims. So the reason why the Muslims fought the Qurazah Jews was because of self-defense. Because in Islam, remember, in Islam, war is either justified or unjustified. There's no holy war against the infidels or anything like that. No, war must be fought. Yes, Islam allows warfare and stuff like that, but in Islam, war is either just or unjust. There's no such thing as a holy war, or fighting people just to convert them to Islam and Muslims. That is complete nonsense. According to the Quran and according to authentic prophetic traditions, Prophet Muhammad never, if you read what Muslim scholars say and stuff like that, Prophet Muhammad never fought a tribe, whether it's an Arab tribe or a Jewish tribe or a pagan tribe or whatever, unless they fought against him first, according to Muslim scholarship. So again, warfare is not encouraged in Islam. Terrorism, warfare is not really encouraged. Is not encouraged in Islam. Islam does not allow it. The only time Islam allows fighting or warfare is for a just cause. It's for a just reason. Either war is either just or unjust. So the Prophet Muhammad never fought any kind of war just randomly, or just because he felt like randomly attacking people and stuff like that. No, according to authentic Muslim sources, the wars Prophet Muhammad fought were either justified or not justified. So I'm sorry, they were justified because the enemies of Islam were fighting the Muslims first. So again, we have to read everything in its proper context and stuff like that. So I hope this clarifies this whole notion of the Qurazah Jews and why they were fought against to begin with. This whole war was a war of self-defense, not a war of offense, according to authentic Muslim sources. Again, remember, Ibn Ishaq and Al-Tabari aren't reliable. So when David Wood and his friends quote Ibn Ishaq and Al-Tabari, most of the time those stories aren't reliable anyways. But if you go to David Wood's blog, if you read it, if you see his videos, and if you see the references and stuff like that, and not just him, but if you go to atheist critics of Islam like the Masked Arab and other atheist critics of Islam, they'll always cite Ibn Ishaq, Al-Tabari. These are weak sources. Muslim scholars don't accept them, so we can throw them out. Again, the most authentic source, the most authentic biography will be Ibn Hisham, Sealed Nectar, and things like that. But these critics, they don't cite it because they don't cite those sources because they know it'll refute their points. So they're selectively picking what they want the public to know, as sources and to better fit their anti-Islamic agenda. So I hope this clarifies the whole reason why the Muslims fought against the Qurazah Jews, and that this clarifies some myths and legends about the Qurazah Jews, and their history, according to authentic Islamic sources. Thanks, all.